trade it with these other countries for the crap they make that we want. And money it becomes less and less of an issue. That's what's supposed to happen if you have true capitalism. It becomes less and less relevant because everybody's currency increases in worth. So not only do you have more than you have now, the worth of what you have is worth more. So there's come the point when you're so financially secure. Everybody is so financially free. We just don't care about money. We don't equate prosperity with money. Okay, we equate prosperity and freedom and security, okay, with plenty, with abundance, with an excess, with a superfluity of all the things we want and need, easy access to those things. That's it. It's as simple as that, folks. And I don't know how I could put it all more succinctly, but you understand how it's the cause of all the problems. It stifles innovation. Okay, we've got to talk about disruptive technology, the fact that it's practically ancient history. I mean, it was 17th century technology that we were able to produce hydrogen artificially. We've always known it existed for a long time. I mean, scientists have figured this out. This hydrogen, this element existed naturally, but how to produce it artificially was a mystery, and then they discovered it in the 17th century. The 1700s, I guess. It was probably the 18th century. As in that time period, you can look it up. But the point is that the idea that we could have miniaturized the ability to produce hydrogen on demand. So you're not driving around with a bomb in your gas tank filled with hydrogen, but you're just producing it. You push the gas pedal, and the device produces more as you need it. Okay, so it's never a danger to explode because, as we all know, hydrogen is very dangerous and it's very explosive, very flammable substance. So this is an example of disruptive technologies because the idea of this device coming to mass production is not exactly music to the ears of the oil companies. I think everybody would agree. So that's just one of many examples of what I'm trying to get across. Your electric company doesn't like the idea of, the public funding a project where the roads are suddenly made out of solar or, 50-50 solar and asphalt, right? They're very strong, okay? And so it's public funded. It's a public utility completely. And all of a sudden, if somebody's going to profit, the public could be sent a check. Okay, so instead of you paying taxes to fix the roads, okay, you actually get paid. Do you understand how this whole thing could be turned around and how that's totally antithetical? The opposite of what the evildoers in control want. They do not want the people set free. They need a huge swath of slaves. Do you understand? Perpetual labor class out there. They cannot have everybody to be prosperous because the fact is, and nobody can refute it, we could at least end desperate poverty overnight, virtually overnight, essentially overnight. We could end desperate poverty. That'd be a start. And then you end poverty completely. And then what do you get when you end poverty? You get everybody being prosperous, secure, free. And that is not what they want. But it is entirely achievable if we, the people, had the power. And how do you get the power? You get it through education, knowledge, information. That's right. Knowledge is power, right? It's more than just being a cliche term. It's a fact. I'm empowered, but I'm not free from the system. But collectively, there's a term that G. Edward Griffin uses that I object to some degree. He needs to point out it's not always a pejorative. Okay, that sometimes it is a positive. After all, what is a family? Isn't a family a collective of relatives, right? So a collective can be a good thing. Isn't that what civilization is? A civilized society, a community? Isn't it essentially a collective? So as a collective, we would be serving each other of our own free will and accord. Do you understand how this would be good all the way around? But we are being duped to the nth degree, have been for a long time, very roundly duped. So our reality, so-called reality, is really but an unreality. And even I can't wrap my mind around this thing. I feel like I'm just wrapping my mind around it about 10%. But that's probably at least 7-8% more than most people. And there's just a huge institution of fraud that's been going on worldwide through history for a long time, duping the masses and keeping them intimidated, keeping them down with authoritarian governments, telling people that we need a government. I mean, what the hell are we going to do without the Congress and the Senate and without the president, without the government bodies, the bureaucrats and all that? Would we all, would everything fall apart without all the laws, the rules and regulations? What would happen to society, oh my gosh, without Big Brother telling us what to do and what not to do? Like we don't have godly instincts. What did Jesus say? He said, you do this and you'll be fine. And am I saying that we need a theocracy? Not if it's crammed down somebody's throat, no. But you do it because this is what's going to bring you happiness. God is a giver of gladness of heart, peace of mind, joy, security and prosperity and freedom, all those good things, those ingredients we need to be happy. Okay, he's the giver of those things. So pleasing God is first and foremost. That's why he said, look, you want to go to the kingdom of heaven, you want to please God, this is it. You love him above all else, honor him above all else. He gave you the breath you have in your lungs. He gave you life, existence. Everything you've ever enjoyed in your life is because God gave you the ability to enjoy it. All your senses, everything good in your life, your children, your spouse, it's all God-given. Do you understand? He's the giver of all these good things. We've got to seek to please him above all else. So Jesus said, look, if you do these things, the law and the prophets, the law he was referring to is the Ten Commandments. Just think, you could simplify it. You don't have to remember the Ten Commandments. All you have to remember is to love God above all else and to love your fellow man as he loved us, as you love yourself, to do to others as you would have them do to you. Live by the golden rule. And we're not going to need any laws, any rules and regulations. Do you understand? Because we are not going to offend each other. We're not going to offend each other with our words because it starts with our, remember, the words that come out of our mouths start with the things that we think. So if we're not thinking funky things to start with, funky things aren't going to come out our mouth. And they're certainly not going to come out of our behavior. We're going to treat each other with dignity, with kindness, with respect, and we're going to get along. We're going to be polite, and we're going to be nice, and we're going to be sensitive automatically, instinctually, because of the godly instinct he gave us. Do you think these people want you to figure out that you were born with a godly instinct? That society cannot break down as long as we have a willing workforce, and that's a God-given workforce. This is the greatest satisfaction any of us can ever obtain out of the few days that we have on this planet. King Solomon alludes to that very clearly. He points that fact out. And he wasn't just saying that because he was king and he loved his subjects to serve him. No, we know it. We know we can't be happy. How else are you going to serve God, the God Almighty? What does he need from me, a mere mortal, living in this body of death for a few short days on the earth, like a mist, here today, gone tomorrow? This is a God that created the universe and everything contained therein. And he needs me? What does he need me to do? I'll tell you what he needs me to do and you to do and all of us to do, is to serve your fellow man. That's it. And you think he needs to shout that at you? Tell you not to be a lazy, decadent slob? Okay, that just wants to be slovenly and lay on the beaches in the Bahamas and get served mojitos? Good luck. Who's going to want to serve you? They're not going to want to. Okay, you may be able to take what you want. You know, if everything's free and we've got giant warehouses, you take what will. So what? Who cares? Even Adam Smith alludes to it. I mean, this problem of bums out there goes all through history. People that would rather, instead of dig ditches, they would rather beg. Okay, we all know that's been an issue, but we don't need to condemn them. We need to help them to understand that, look, you're not going to be happy until you're serving. My advice to these kind of people has always been, look, don't take no for an answer. You go out there and you say, I'm going to work. Even if I got to work for free, I'm going to work. Even if I'm a beggar, I'm still going to go and serve my fellow man, because I'm not going to feel right. I have a conscience. I have integrity. I have honor. And if it's just my own and nobody else sees it, I care about my soul and where I'm going from here and pleasing God and pleasing man and pleasing myself. It's all interrelated. Okay, so we've had lazy people and bums. And what Adam Smith said, look, a civilized society, okay, can support many, what's a term he used? I